How's it going, guys and girls? Twintendo here. Today we got some brand new Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon information from CoroCoro leaks, and it's kind of stuff we already knew about, but it's very interesting, and we'll probably be getting the official high resolution pictures and information on Saturday, because that's the 15th, and they've released new information on the Japanese Pokemon website for Super Mystery Dungeon every 15th of the month from June onwards. So expecting it on Saturday, and I'll make a video on it definitely when we get full resolution pictures. But anyway, I'm going to talk about what's been revealed in CoroCoro, which is basically more information about Mega Evolution, a new feature called Lapis, and like a Ringle band or something. They're very interesting, and we also get to talk about the investigation team in more detail. I mentioned them in a previous video in Starters Roles Revealed. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely check that one out. It'll be on screen now. But anyway, let's get into the video. Now, before I do get in the video, actually, shout out to Relic Via 4, who actually showed me the English translations for this CoroCoro leak. They're one of our subscribers. They've been an awesome help here, and thank you very much. And the person who actually translated them, Swamp Marsh Mud, is a user on Reddit, fan translated it all, really helpful. So even if you don't see this video, thank you very much for helping me out. And yeah, let's go into the first scan, which is all about Mega Evolutions. So I'm going to read the translations to you and then pick up on some points afterwards. So, as we know, guys, there is Mega Evolution in Super Mystery Dungeon, and you can enjoy countless adventures, and the battles are awesome as well, is what it says basically. And one thing about the Mega Evolution, which we kind of expected, is that it raises your stats even further, and it basically is, better than Evolution according to this. And what's quite cool about Mega Evolution is that you can actually destroy walls in the dungeon. So if it's like a dead end, you can use your power to break through the walls and get through to the other side, or just make more spaces. Pretty interesting. That'll definitely be something I'm looking forward to using. Now it says, inside dungeons, once certain conditions have been met, your Pokemon awakens, which basically means Mega Evolves, and only certain Pokemon can Mega Evolve, which changes their look, ability, and powers them up, is basically what we said. So we know that, we've known about Mega Evolution for, a couple of years now, so there's nothing new there. But basically, stats go up, you can actually attack multiple enemies at once, even if you're surrounded by enemy Pokemon. So I think monster houses are definitely going to be much easier if you have a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. The only problem I'm getting with all this information is that it sounds like it might be too overpowered. Hopefully the dungeons are a bit more stronger in the post-game. But so far, I still like the idea of it, definitely. So basically, like it says, you can defeat several Pokemon at once. And with Mega Evolution, there's no enemy to fear, which I actually like that caption, it's pretty cool. And as I said, Mega Evolutions can destroy walls, like dungeon walls, which is pretty interesting. So it says a dead end, but with Mega Evolution, you make a way through. And that's really interesting. So hopefully that's going to be something that can help us out and maybe discover items in walls, because I was actually playing Buried Relic the other day on the old Blue-Red Rescue team, and apparently you can find items and treasure inside the walls if you use Rock Smash and stuff. So hopefully it'll be something like that. You can find treasure inside the walls in some dungeons. Now, there's actually a new item, and this is something that may link to Mega Evolution that I'll talk about at the end. So this is called the Lapis and Ringle. So Lapis are like the stones you put inside the Ringle, and the Ringle is kind of like the Mega Evolution bracelet or like band or whatever it was, and you put the Mega Zones in. It looks like that. And you can only find these Lapis in dungeons, and once you finish the dungeon, they'll disappear. So basically, it says Lapis can only be found in dungeons. They disappear once you exit the dungeon. Using the Power Up X Lapis, the power of your moves goes up. Use it well to become stronger. I'm not sure if it's like a one-time thing, so like a one enemy thing, or it lasts for the one floor or the whole dungeon. There's also a defense up, and that lowers the damage taken from moves, and equips multiples to stack its effect. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can use like multiple defense Lapis to even have a stronger defense. I don't know how many you can fit into the Ringle, but it's pretty interesting. And it says there's many different effects, and there's also combos. So maybe you can put more than one Lapis into the Ringle. And it says there's a combo protect one, and it says useful for when you're hit multiple times in one turn, lowers the overall damage. So that's pretty cool. And something I want to point out on the artwork is that, there's Mega Salamence there. It has a Ringle on one of its arms, and it's Mega Evolving, so it might be that, certain Lapis come together to form the Mega Evolution. You need certain ones for Pokemon to Mega Evolve, or there's just Mega Zones you find in the dungeon. But the thing is, I bet it's quite unlikely to find a Mega Zone in the dungeon, but you know, for the certain Pokemon. But then again, you know, who knows? Obviously, you could carry it and then put it into the ring or when you get in the dungeon. But the thing is, Mega Evolutions sound very overpowered, so it's likely that you're gonna have to find a certain, you know, items to put in the ring or in that dungeon. I don't know. It's interesting, guys. We'll definitely have to wait and see. And something I want to point out before we move on to the next scan, like all the Pokemon look really happy. Like, oh look, Mega Salamence is attacking, and then Pumpkaboo's face is just pure horror. It's hilarious. But anyway, let's move on to scan 2, and this is all about the Pokemon investigation team. Now, I've mentioned this in the past video, in the roles revealed, the starters roles revealed video, and I was talking about how it looks like you're going to be investigating, you're going to be kind of like detectives, and I might have mentioned, I can't remember because I haven't, you know, seen that video in a while. I think I mentioned that the big building in the unknown town was the one I thought was going to be the investigation like headquarters. Well, it turns out that is the case by the looks of it, and it's made up of 8 Pokemon. This team is very interesting, so I'll go through the translations and then discuss it in more detail. So basically, it says, in order to achieve their dreams, the protagonist and partner enter the Pokemon investigation team, go on a grand adventure across the world with your colourful teammates. Now, like I said, there's 8 like main Pokemon who make up the team. I will make a video on this when I get more details about them, but for now I'll just go over them in like the little details we have. So first of all, there's Ampharos, the team leader, and just to say, guys, the genders aren't confirmed yet because they're not sure. It's just the use of Japanese words, you know, gendered words may suggest if they're male or female, so we'll have to wait and see for that. But basically, it says Ampharos, the team leader, even though she's the leader, she suffers from extremely poor sense of direction, and although she's an airhead, the team members trust her greatly. She's a reliable Pokemon. So that's interesting. I do like the look of Ampharos. In fact, we can see in another scan, she seems to appear in Serene Village, so maybe that's where you meet up first and then go into the, like, other... I think you have to go to another continent, I'm guessing so, to get to this town. But it looks pretty interesting, and we'll move on to the next Pokemon, and this is my personal favourite, Weasel, Sinnoh Pokemon, my favourite, probably generation I'd say. And it's an investigator in charge of underwater exploration. I always pick Mudkip, as you guys can imagine, because I literally love Mudkips, and obviously I love like water dungeons and water Pokemon in general. So that's going to be really cool if we get to have underwater like adventures with Weasel. We've seen the, like, from past trailers, the Ryulu, Cyndaquil and Wailord kind of underwater dungeon. I'm not sure if that's linked to this, but anyway, apparently Weasel is a reliable senpai, and if you guys don't watch a lot of anime like me, basically senpai means someone who's kind of like older than you, and just like, it can mean like higher up in a certain like degree, but basically senpai mainly like someone who's older than you. So it seems to be Weasel is quite older than your protagonist, and it says it's someone who protects the main heroes. So I'm liking the sound of Weasel, definitely. Let's move on to Jirachi. Now, Jirachi is actually the astronomer, and although he's a genius, once he falls asleep, it's hard to wake him up. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I don't really know how that's going to affect, you know, Jirachi as a character, or maybe, you know, there might be a time in the game we need him and he's asleep, so we'll see. And it says his sleeping posture is terrible as well. That's just a side note. Like I said, I'll get more information hopefully later this week and I'll make a video on it. And next up we have Mawile, and Mawile is an archaeologist, and according to the translations, she's also a seasoned adventurer. Basically means, you know, she's used to going out on adventures and stuff, which is pretty cool. And next up we get to see Archon. Now, Archon is investigator in charge of sky exploration, so maybe there might be more like sky dungeons, hopefully, because we only really had Sky Tower in Blue and Red Rescue Team, and not many more come to mind, so hopefully there will be more. And basically it says he has a very helpful personality, and we actually get to see Archon showing the starters, like, or well, you know, the protagonist Lapras, like by a pier. I'm not sure where that is. So next up we have Bunnelby. Now Bunnelby is the investigator in charge of underground exploration, and his special skill is digging with his ears. That's all it says really. There's not much information on Bunnelby. Hopefully we'll get more soon. Next up is Swirlix. Now Swirlix is a waiter and is in charge of the food, but he's always sneaking food, which basically means, you know, he's always taking some of the food and eating it, by the sounds of it. Sounds very similar to Chimecho from, you know, Explorers of Time, Darkness and Sky. I really like Chimecho, and hopefully we'll have an awesome eating scene like we did in Explorers. And the last Pokemon that forms the investigation team is Dedenne, and Dedenne is a messenger of the investigation team, and basically they send messages back and forth between team members using its electric waves. Honestly, don't know what that means, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. So guys, my common question of the day: which Pokemon are you looking forward to seeing the most, and why? Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing Buizel and Dedenne, and probably Bunnelby, just because, you know, Bunnelby's a really cool looking Pokemon. And obviously you guys can say as many as you want. If you're looking forward to seeing all of them, that's a fine answer, because to be honest, I am as well. But basically, I just like the sound of Buizel the most. Very cool, someone who you kind of look up to. Definitely like the sounds of that. So like I said guys, there will be more information soon, and with high resolution pictures, and like I said, I'll make videos on Mega Evolutions and the investigation team when I get more information. And I'll also have a new Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon video tomorrow, so I hope you guys look forward to that. And that's pretty much it. So guys, if you haven't seen our 2 previous videos, they're going to be on screen now. On the left hand side is the possibility of Treasure Town and Post Town returning into Super Mystery Dungeon. This sounds highly likely, not 100% yet, because obviously we haven't seen any pictures or like Treasure Town or Post Town on the map, but it definitely seems very likely. And also on the right hand side guys, you can see the possibility of returning characters coming back to Super Mystery Dungeon, and what I mean by that is, you know, past characters from old Mystery Dungeon games like Grovyle, Wigglytuff, Alakazam, Pokemon like that. That'd be really cool to see them, because there is Red and Blue's region in the game, so hopefully we'll see some returning faces. And guys, if you haven't subscribed already, big red button on screen, you know what to do, and hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned on this channel for more Super Mystery Dungeon updates, and I will see you guys on our next video. Peace!